Welcome back to another episode of Transformation to Expansion. My name is Lucrative Bradley, and today we're going to have an episode about Pluto in Aquarius because the next 19 years is literally going to be insane, full of unexpected turns and twists when it comes to everything tech, everything human, everything money related, everything environments related. And also, yes, if y'all confused, I did do a live stream yesterday, but the live stream was not live streaming the way I wanted it to live stream, okay? Super laggy. I don't know how to fix that problem. If you know, please let me know if you recommend a specific streaming platform, and I will start to use that because obviously it wasn't doing what it needed to do, okay? The audio is good, so if y'all really want to see the audio was good, but, you know, like I said, it wasn't doing what it needed to do. So today I'm going to redo that. And I know for some of y'all really want to have me do the astrology for each sign, especially going to Pluto in Aquarius. And I will do that. Probably, if not tomorrow, then I will legit do it I'll upload it at least on Thanksgiving. Okay, so stay tuned for that. I apologize, Brooke, I'm talking to you. I apologize for that, okay? But I needed to redo this because, oh my God. When I looked back at that stream, I was like, there is no way. There is no way. Your girl really needs to get some better Wi-Fi because it's a hot mess right now. It's a hot mess right now. So we're back at it, and we are straight up going to go back through this big list. I don't know if I'll make it an hour like I did yesterday. There's a lot of topics that I talked about yesterday, but I'm going to try to go through every topic that I possibly can just so y'all actually have like something to look at that's not laggy and that's not giving, you know, AOL internet. And some of y'all don't even know what AOL is. And honestly, I have to be honest, like I don't even really truly know what AOL was because I was a kid when it first came out. I just knew that, you know, there was a computer and the only thing I wanted to do on the computer was play video games. So that's what I did. Anybody remember that? Any of y'all remember that? The little CD-ROMs? What was it? Putt-Putt? Is that still a thing? Kids out there, Gen Z, is Putt-Putt still a thing? The little car that would go to the zoo and stuff, and you have to like feed it fries and stuff like that. Anyway, we're gonna stay on topic today. So the first thing we're gonna get into today is, and before I even get further into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. Obviously, y'all know this, right? Especially if you want more updates on everything Pluto and Aquarius. I'm definitely shifting Transformation to Expansion to include more conversations about that and what to expect over the next 19 years. Because again, there are so many uncertainties with this. There's so many transformations going on that I really want y'all to just be on top of it and have as much knowledge as possible so y'all can be ahead of the curve. And even just watching this video, you're already ahead of the curve, to be honest, because especially for those of y'all living like in America, even outside of America, y'all know like there is a bigger conscious community online, right? Definitely a lot more than like 30 years ago. But we still have to realize, even though it is millions of people, there's billions of people on the planet, right? So there's still billions of people that are still asleep. So we kind of need to get with it. And Pluto's going to help us with this. Pluto in Aquarius is going to help us with this in the next 19 years. It's going to get everybody on board, whether they like it or not, which is going to be really tough, right? That's one of those experiences that we have as humans. Is like we can either take the initiative to change ourselves, or God is going to shake our life up in some way to be like, look, you need to get with this. You need to get on top of this. You need to start to shift your mindset around this topic because we've been trying to help you with this, but you're just not getting it. So here you go. And so I'm trying to prevent that from happening for y'all. Okay, so definitely tune in, especially if y'all are interested in investments, building your own business to sell later for profit. This video is going to help you so much because I'm giving you kind of the insider's perspective of what is going to be happening and popping off in the future so y'all can get ahead of the curve, okay? And I'm talking like, you know how like, you know, 20 years ago, Netflix wasn't anything, and now the stock is like at $800 a share, which is crazy for an entertainment company, like really insane. It's literally higher than Apple right now. Like it's higher valued, y'all, than Apple. Apple's at like, I think at like 200 right now, $200 a share. Netflix is at 800. Like, get that in your mind, right? This is an entertainment company. Like, it shouldn't really be like that, but it is. So anyway, my point is This video is going to help you find the Netflixes of the future. At least start to create the mechanisms to find the Netflix of the future. Okay. So crypto of the future, however you want to put it. So the first thing we're going to get into, we're already talking about it, is money. Okay. So money is going to be completely revolutionized in the next 19 years. Whether or not you believe in astrology, whether or not you believe in the rapture, whether or not you believe in the end times, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Money is going to change. It's already been changing so much. You know, the past 4 years that I've traveled, I guess 5 now, I have seen a drastic change in every single country, from going from a country where you have to use cash. Like, it's so rare to find cities where you actually need cash all the time, to cities, especially in more, how do I want to put this, modern countries. I don't want to say developed countries, because like, you know, it's not, you know, I feel like every country is developed in its own, I don't want to say its own way, but there's like countries that are developed economically, and then there's countries that are more developed spiritually, right? So I think the term developed, for me at least, doesn't really, it's a little biased. So that's how I'm going to put it. But my point is, less and less people are using cash. More people are using digital currency, okay? Whether or not you believe that your money that you earn from your job going directly into your bank account, whether or not you believe that's, you know, real currency or not, that is technically digital currency. You're not being handed, oh, here's your $5,000 month check, or here's your $10,000. You're not being handed that cash. It is being transferred digitally. That is digital currency, okay? We are stepping into this time of digital currency. One of the biggest things that I really wanted to talk about to really help y'all with this is where to store your digital currency. Now, a lot of people are going to say, you know, store it in crypto, store it well, no, a lot of people are going to say to store it in crypto. That's going to be their advice, right? And, you know, I want to first say this is not advice. I'm not giving y'all advice on anything, but I do want to say this is that, you know, crypto astrologers have looked at the chart for crypto. They have looked at the chart and they have stated it is going to get in the billions per coin. What? Yeah, billions per coin, y'all. Billions with a B. And I really think at this point it's going to get into the trillions per coin as inflation moves up. That's my opinion. I'm not giving y'all advice. I'm just telling y'all that is what astrologers have speculated, okay? Now, I will say this, though. When it comes to saving your money, you want to invest it in something that is going to increase with inflation, okay? You know, back in the old days, people would, you know, save their money in a bank or save it underneath their, you know, their bed, you know, and underneath their mattress. I don't think anybody does that anymore. But the thing is, the paper dollar, I should have gotten my wallet. The paper dollar is not going to have any value at the end of Pluto in Aquarius. I'm telling y'all right now. Actually, let me say this. So I will say this. For people who collect dollars and coins, yes, it will have some value. But I'm telling you right now, a lot of that stuff is not going to have value unless you're going to sell it to a collector, which I don't know who's going to be collecting dollars at that point. But, you know, there's people now collecting coins. So there's always going to be somebody. But my point is, you want to start moving your money into things that are going to grow with inflation, okay? For those of y'all who don't like risk, yes, real estate, even though there is still some risk involved in real estate is a good investment. For those of y'all who are like, I don't like the market, it goes up and down. I don't know if, you know, if you're one of those people who can't handle your investments going up in price and down in price, and you get really like, oh my God, I need to pull out before, you know, the stock crashes or whatever. Let me write that down. I just had a revelation that I'm going to explain to y'all in a second. But if you're not comfortable riding the wave, then I highly, highly recommend to find something else, obviously. But I'm telling y'all right now, Pluto in Aquarius is going to be full of these ups and downs. And this is going to be something that you're going to have to learn. Y'all will have to learn. Y'all will have to learn. And because there's going to be so many ups and downs when it comes to the environment, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to human beings, when it comes to even the definition of what a human right is, when it comes to tech, when it comes to AI, like all of this stuff, it's going to be shocking to a lot of y'all. Probably not the people who are watching this video, but the people who aren't watching this video or who like scrolled past it. I'm telling y'all right now, like, it's like, there's going to be so many revolutions in the next 19 years that I just don't want y'all to fall behind. So when it comes to money, I want y'all to really save it into a market. You can look into the futures market. And you can look into indices too. That's another one that's very lucrative. There's, for example, I don't know what his name is, but there's one guy who invested in soybean production back in like the 60s. And now, of course, is a billionaire, right? So I just want y'all to keep that into perspective. Now, the trick is to find what is going to be, flourishing and abundant within the next, 10 or 20 years, right? That's kind of the trick. And throughout this video, I'm going to show y'all and explain to y'all little tricks that'll help you kind of figure out how to predict this. And no, I'm not talking about ChatGPT, okay? So I'm going to talk about that too. But yeah, so y'all really need to look into that. So for money, but money is going to become digital. I want y'all to really not lose in this, okay? But no, like, just start to learn about the different markets, okay? What I would I don't want to say highly suggest, but what I would do is I would look into the different markets, whether it's indices, forex, currency is forex, sorry. Futures, options, or crypto. You want to pick one to start and excel at it, okay? And I would just highly suggest the ones that will grow. I don't want to put this. That's not really the right way to put it. What I would do is I would look at the one that is going to be aligned with what is going to happen with Pluto and Aquarius in terms of technology, innovations, in terms of like, what is the future gonna look like? That's the best clue I can give y'all. Hopefully y'all can put 2 and 2 together, okay? Please put 2 and 2 together. Please put 2 and 2 together, okay? That's what I would look at, okay? For a while, people were concerned with the American options stock. They thought it was gonna crash. But I've gotten some insider knowledge that it actually might go up with crypto. And not insider knowledge, I think it's pretty known knowledge at this point, right? We know that the dollar went up and also the crypto went up. So there's been some talk about that. I don't know if they're actually going to follow through with this plan of aligning the dollar with the crypto, or with crypto, the American dollar with crypto. But if they do, then continue with the options, like continue to go into options. But one of the things that I was like, I was kind of uncertain about options was that, if the dollar crashes, then that goes that whole market. But which would create a beautiful opportunity for y'all to invest into that market because it's crashed and it's low. But I don't really know if that's going to happen, to be honest. But I will say this, there is going to be another COVID situation. We're going to talk about that later in this video, okay? But there is going to be another COVID situation. And what happened during COVID? The economy crashed, okay? So my point is, just try to gather everything that I'm talking to y'all about today in this video and really just put 2 and 2 together. There's some stuff I'm not going to say outright for obvious reasons that I'll get into later in this video also. And there's some stuff that I'm not going to say on this video, but I will say on the Patreon page, okay? In the Patreon family, because this is a regulated site. So at the end of the day, there's only so much I can say on here, okay? So that's where I'm coming from with money. I think that's going to be it for right now. The next thing I wanted to get into is population. We will experience a huge decline in population within the next 19 years. Huge decline. I'm talking, what's happening or what's been happening in Japan? That's going to be happening globally, okay? Now, it's not going to be on some no Children of Men. That movie that came out in the 2000s where there was only one woman who could like have a baby. Everybody else couldn't have babies anymore. And it was just like depressing. That's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to be to that extreme. Remember, movies, they do tell us about the future, but it's dramatized. It's very extreme in how they tell us this, okay? So they do help us know about what's going to happen in the future, especially the movies that are based off of a book. Please put 2 and 2 together, y'all, okay? Especially the TV shows that are based off of books. Okay? Okay. So what I want y'all to really understand is that, you know, a lot of these media, entertainment, they do tell us about the future, but it's in a very dramatized way, because at the end of the day, it's entertainment. We need to be entertained, okay? We can't wait, you know, we can't watch the characters sitting at their office for a month developing new technology. No, we want to skip to when they develop new technology, and then we want to see the immediate effects of it, which in reality is not really how that works, okay? Y'all get what I'm saying. But the population, it is going to decline. Now, when it comes to this population decline, this event, it's not even going to be an event. I think it's going to be a slow, I don't know, not slow, but it's going to be like, oh. It's going to be like that. That's like the only way I can explain it. It's going to be one of those things where people will talk about it, but we're not going to realize the truth of it until, you know, there's a moment where it's like, oh, we only have this many kids on the earth right now. So for those of y'all who are in healthy relationships, have as many as you can, okay? Just come on. We need to have a lot more babies in this world, okay? A lot more babies. But the population is going to decline, but it's crazy because, again, I was like, can I say that? Maybe I won't say that on here, but certain powers that be, obviously this was what was intended, right? But it's going to backfire. Now, how that's going to backfire, I'm not going to explain it here on YouTube for obvious reasons. I'm going to explain that on the Patreon page, but it's going to backfire. But the population decline. So what I will say is this: the population decline is a pie. And every pie has different slices. So there's going to be multiple reasons why the population has declined, okay? Some of y'all are going to be like, oh, it's because of the metals we inject in our body. That's how I'm going to put it. I'm not going to say the V word. We're going to say the metals we inject in our body. And that's a piece of the pie. There's many different reasons for this, okay? You know, there's a really funny, what is her name? Quintel, something like that. I think it's her name, Quintel Bronson. She's like a famous YouTuber and Viner and TikToker, whatever. I guess influencer at this point. I love her because she has this cooking show, and whenever she finds like an item with a bunch of like chemicals in it, she calls it population control, and it's so good. I love her. It's so good. It's so good. But there's some truth in that. You know, there's an article that came out, I think like 10 years ago, that I read when I was, you know, when I got my degree in biology, that talked about how the biggest bioweapon, it's not actually a weapon, it's food. It's literally the food that we eat. That's the biggest bioweapon, is food, okay? Food, a lot of these chemicals that are in our food, this is what causes cancer. A lot of people won't say that. And again, I'm going to frame that as this is a belief that I have. Let me just put it like that, because I know some people can be like, oh, that's not a scientific fact or whatever. Okay, sure. That's a belief. That's a belief that I have. Let's put it like that if y'all want to hear it like that. But I know I'm not alone in that belief. Okay. And I know that there's doctors who also believe this. Okay. So, and I think there's more evidence now that suggests that. Now, we ain't gonna get into the weeds of that. But again, when it comes to population control, the biggest advice I could give y'all, especially for those of y'all who are single, is just keep your body healthy. Detox your body of metals all the time. There's so many metals in our water, okay? And it's not just in the water that you drink. It's the water that you shower with, that you brush your teeth with, you know? You need to be aware of this, okay? Y'all need to be aware of this. So keep that in mind. Keep your body as healthy as possible. Now, does that mean completely switch to juicing for the rest of your life? No, just make a vow to live and eat and be healthier every month. That's all you need to do. I vow to myself to be healthier every single month. This could look like something small, like switching from canned fruit to fresh fruit. If you really like canned fruit, okay, switch it to fresh fruit. This could be something small, like, you know, once a week you happen to eat vegan. If you, and when I say vegan, let me rephrase that, not vegan. You happen to eat fresh produced plant-based. That's also organic. That was a handful. I don't know what the term is for this. Maybe there's a term for this, but I forgot it. But I really want y'all to make an effort to eat, maybe even raw, just eat raw once a week. That would be great. But again, make little micro changes. It's not about drastically changing it overnight. It's about making those habits that are going to last a lifetime, okay? But this is also going to affect the population. Now, there's another big black swan event that is going to heavily affect the population. And that is something that I cannot talk about on here. I'm not going to talk about it on YouTube. I apologize. But there's one that I know of that will happen within the next 10 years. That's how I'm going to put it on here. That is going to heavily affect the population. Heavily decrease it. Like craziness. So that's going to be a shock to everybody. But again, we're going to talk about those black swan events a little bit in this show, in this episode. I'm going to talk about it more on the Patreon page. I really don't feel comfortable talking about some of these topics in depth on here, okay? And if y'all part of the Patreon family, make sure to remind me, because y'all know I got a lot going on, okay? Okay, so that's going to be the population. So there is going to be a huge population decline. For those of y'all who are interested in helping people have babies, okay, and I'm not just talking about doulas, I'm talking about actually helping people conceive babies in a different way that's been done before. We've seen a lot of science in this. There's actually a lot of holistic methods to doing this. If that is something that interests you, hop on that, start that now, okay? Build your foundation now so that when that happens and people are going to come to you, your businesses are going to boom. But start to build that foundation now, okay? Because I've gotten a lot of downloads. That was one thing I wanted to do. I was like, I want to have a baby making retreat. Like, that would be so crazy. But like, and my friend, like, when I told her this, like, she laughed at me. But I was like, no, let's do it. Like, I was just like, I just wanted to be more babies in the world. Like, truly, truly, truly. But me being me, I have all of these downloads, all these ideas constantly coming to me. And I know my butt, I don't know if that'll actually happen at some point. So I'm giving y'all this freebie, okay? There's gonna be a lot of freebie business ideas coming through this this episode, okay? So make sure to listen up, make sure to tune in. We're just at the beginning. Okay, so the next thing is tech. Tech is going to, well, actually, let me say this. All of the topics I'm talking about, maybe with the exception of population, it's going to happen in an exponential curve, okay? An exponential curve is a curve that goes like this. It's straight, and then it starts to curve, and then it just shoots straight up. That is what Pluto in Aquarius is all about. That is the energy we are going to see. That is the types of transformation we're going to see. There is going to be a time, and I want to say sometime, maybe it's already happening. People would say it's been happening, but it's still been pretty slow. Tech, it's going to seem like every week there's a new iPhone. That's how I'm going to put it. And not like, how do I want to put this? Not like a literal new iPhone, but it's like, remember the times that we lived in where the iPhone was the new, the new phone. Not everybody had one, right? It was only certain people who had one. And it was like, oh my God, like the whole phone is a screen. The phone has a camera that's HD. Like it was literally like, people were literally like that when the iPhone just came out. That type of technology is going to be coming out every week. Every week. At some of these points during Pluto and Aquarius, every week is going to be happening like that. It's going to be craziness. The VR headsets that y'all got last year, chunky ones that give you a headache after like 2 hours, that's going to go away. That's completely going to go away, right? And that's one thing for y'all who are interested in investing, look into nanotechnology. And don't try to invest in like, okay, what's going to be the next nanotech. Invest in the parts and pieces that is going to create that nanotechnology, okay? I'm giving y'all game right now. Nanotechnology is going to be huge. And I say this because a lot of these billion-dollar, trillion-dollar corporations are going to be investing a lot of money into nanotechnology, right? Because they want to try to get this technology, these chunky VR headsets, they want to try to get them as small as possible, okay? What does that look like? It's not even a chip. What people think it's the chip is what to worry about. No, it's contact lenses. Okay, they're gonna make it so that you literally put in your contact and you're good to go. A good reference book for y'all to read is the Ugly series. Netflix came out with a movie about this recently. The movie was cringe. I was upset. Middle school me was very upset, okay? Because I read those books. I love those books. It made me so upset, but it's okay. But don't watch the movie. Read the books, because they specifically talk about these technologies in the book. And that's one of the biggest things and the biggest recommendations I can give to y'all right now, okay? You need to start looking at all of these movies or TV shows, figure out what books they're based off of, read the books. That's going to give you an insider's view into the technology that is going to be developing in the next 19 years or more. I'm giving y'all game. I'm giving y'all game right now, okay? Y'all don't understand. I think some of y'all do, though. Some of y'all do. But I'm just really intending that a lot of y'all can actually pick up what I'm putting down, okay? So, technology. What else for tech? So, nanotechnology, look into it. Space technology, look into it. Waterproofing technology. Oh my God. Y'all need to look into waterproofing technology. What I mean by that is, people don't understand. People don't understand. But no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop saying that. Y'all understand. Y'all who know me, y'all understand. Okay. Waterproof technology. Look into it. This is gonna be a huge turning point. A lot of this technology already exists. It's just not easily accessible to the masses. But look into companies that are looking to waterproof technology. Okay? Okay. 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 Obviously 3D printers are going to get even more crazier. Okay. So look at the extremes of this. A good movie to watch again is Spy Kids, giving you an insight into how some of the technology is going to be developed. There's a really famous scene in Spy Kids where they literally put this, like, I think it was like either a chip, like literally like the size of a credit card, or it was like the size of a granola bar. I forget which one it was, but they put it into the microwave. They put the little buttons in there, and then magically it turns into McDonald's. Okay. That is kind of the more evolved version of 3D printers. So you want to start to think, okay, what is the technology that people are going to need to develop that tech? Look into those companies or build your own company around this and then sell it later. What I recommend, and I guess some people disagree with me on this, and this is okay. But what I recommend is you get in, get out. Don't try to mess with anybody's money. Don't try to, I hope y'all can understand what I mean by this. Because the tech industry can get very, and my earring is just not doing what it needs to do. The tech industry can get very ugly and petty. And so, I always just say go the monk way, Choose the path of least resistance. Least resistance is you get into the industry, you develop your product, you sell your products for the profit, significant profit, hopefully, and then you get out and then you move on to the next thing until you're happy and satisfied with the amount of money that you have, okay? Don't get greedy, don't buy into greed, don't try to become a world ruler. Okay, we ain't gonna laugh about that. We're gonna talk about that later in this show though. But just keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. So that's tech, okay? The next thing is going to be AI development, okay? This is the next thing we're going to get into. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, okay? So that, actually, hold on, let me see. For tech, I'm like, is there anything else? Okay, obviously look into applications and how apps can replace common day, common day. Just start to think, what can AI or applications replace for everyday needs, okay? AI is already replacing a lot of this stuff. But, and maybe, I don't know, can you order food from AI now? I think at some point you'll be able to. I don't know if maybe Apple's working on this, but what I mean by this is at some point you could just be like, hey, I'm not gonna say her name, but hey, so-and-so, that's how I'm putting it. Order me Vietnamese food on Uber Eats, and it'll just be done. It'll look at probably your history of orders on Uber Eats and order the same thing and probably ask you, do you want the same thing as last time? You say yes, and they order it. I think that technology is already out here actually. But what I want y'all to start to do is meditate on what is the evolution of that. invest your money in those companies. Or like I said, you can go the easy way and just invest in crypto, okay? Invest in the most reliable and foundational crypto, which is obviously Bitcoin. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just what I would do. Okay, so that's tech. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else? The flying cars thing, I think the biggest thing with tech is what I said earlier. This is the biggest takeaway with tech. If you want to invest in tech or create your own tech company, what I highly recommend is you start to read these books about the future and the not so distant future, right? If we're talking about thousands or hundreds of thousands of years now, I mean, sure, but I don't think we're there yet. But just look at just books that are about the not so distant future. Look at what tech they have and then figure that out, okay? Another good book to read, it's part of that Uglies series by, I want to say Scott Westerfield is his name. But he also made like a spin-off series called The Extras. And if you want to know how social media is going to evolve during Pluto in Aquarius, read that book. Read that book. That's all I can say about that. I'm giving y'all game, y'all picking it up. Okay, so I'm telling y'all right now, social media, it's not even, people think like influencers are powerful now. Just wait. And again, read that book, read The Extras by Scott Westerfield. That's going to give you an insight into how powerful they really will become. Y'all, like, we ain't gonna get into it. Okay, so now we're going to go into AI development. I mean, I think I went into the big ones. I think at the end of the day, if you are looking for tech to invest in, tech communications is also going to be a big thing, but I think this is going to be it. Think about what is the evolution of social media. Okay, AI development is the next topic we're going to talk about. So AI development. So it's already exponentially evolving. Like now you can have full conversations with ChatGPT. I think the next thing would be for it to be completely free. I mean, they're already taking data and charging y'all $20 a month. So I don't know what else they could do, but you know what? Yeah, and I'm curious how this, I wonder if they'll do what Netflix did. So one thing that I want to say about this is Netflix, they did something really smart when it came to other developing countries, because not everybody can afford the $20 a month for Netflix. That's a huge chunk of some people's income, monthly income in other countries. And so Netflix was smart. What they did was they would do bundles where, you know, you can technically have 4 accounts on one Netflix, right? So I remember when I was in Colombia, you could buy one of these accounts and then you just have like a code. So now you split the $20, $5 between 5 families, you get Netflix. So I can see ChatGPT doing something similar like this with other countries who can't really afford the $20 a month for ChatGPT. It's pretty, again, globally, it's pretty expensive right now, which is why a lot of these, like, they're going to have to do something about that. And I don't know how they're going to outcompete Google or like their AI, to be completely honest. Like, I don't know how they're going to outcompete it. What's the other one? And then of course, Apple's AI tool, I think is going to be pretty, another one. I think those are the 3 ones to look out for AI. I guess Tesla will develop their own AI with Twitter, with X, using the data from X. And then Meta. So I guess we have 5. We have 5 like leading AIs right now. So we have Apple, Meta, which is like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. Okay. I guess 6. Sorry. So I'm going to get into the 6th one in a second. Who owns Snap? Oh, nobody owns Snapchat right now. I don't know about Snapchat. But they do have a lot of data. So we'll see if they get acquired by somebody else. Then we have Amazon. Do we have Amazon? Let me see. Oh, yeah, and they're getting their data from Twitch. That's their social media link. Amazon might win out, but I'm going through it for y'all. Okay, so then we have Google also. And then I forgot one more that I just said. So Twitter, right, X. So we have Tesla. And then we also have TikTok. And I don't know which one TikTok is going to outcompete, but it's going to outcompete one of these, because when it comes to Asia, they are all over TikTok. And a significant part of the global population is where? It's in Asia, because Asia includes countries like China and India. Okay, so TikTok has to be in there. I don't know who's gonna get booted out. I mean, I guess with this election, maybe it's not gonna be Tesla and Elon Musk. I don't think it's gonna be Amazon because he has Twitch, and live streaming is gonna go crazy. That is the next thing. That is the next thing. I'm telling y'all right now, live streaming. Okay. Google is pretty set, so I think they're good to go. So I guess it's gonna be. I mean, Apple. They're all about this like I don't know. Their branding is really good. So Apple is gonna, I don't know. I feel like I can't choose. And then we have Meta. So I don't know. It's gonna be, it's gonna be like an arms race between these like 6 known, okay, we're gonna put known corporations. It's gonna be literally an arms race between them. Because right now, it's like I can really see any of them. But like I said, TikTok is one to look out for. Right now, the stock isn't open for TikTok. So I'm waiting for, I don't know if they'll ever make it public, to be honest. But TikTok is reigning supreme, especially in Asia. It's crazy. But one of them is going to have to win out. Or maybe maybe there's another unknown company that is literally buying data from all of these companies and is making their own ultra super powered AI. Moving on. Let's move on. We're going to move on from AI. We're going to leave. We're going to leave. We're not going to go down that route. I think I've said way too much already. We're going to save the rest of that conversation for Patreon because, look, I think what I just said is like, oh, wait, I think we just realized what is actually happening. And I just don't understand. Like, one thing I really want to talk to these people about, to these, like, rich billionaires, is, like, how much money is enough money? Like, what? But I think the other thing is, though, I think a lot of people don't realize, is people say that all these rich people are like really evil people, you know, they're this type of alien or this type of alien. I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, not whatever. I mean, it's not, I get where y'all coming from. Okay. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna reference the prince. But at the end of the day, they are pushing technology forward. And they are empowering this transformation of technology to happen within the context that we live in. Okay, does that make sense? There are more peaceful ways to do that, but human beings have just been progressing a little slow. And Pluto in Aquarius doesn't have time. Literally, like, they don't, like, that energy does not have time to wait. It doesn't. So it's like, we're going to get with it or you're going to get lost. So, but that's pretty much AI development. I think I've really summed up AI development. Okay. At this point, y'all, like, oh my God, literally just explain to you what is exactly happening with all of those AI and data retrieval. Oh, you know what? And I just forgot. There's one more thing that is going to like take the cake. And when I say like people are freaking out about our data being collected by these companies through social media, there's an evolved version of this that people are going to be so easily manipulated into buying into. And can we just pause real quick? That's the crazy part. We are literally paying them to take our data. Like, it's genius. It's genius. We are literally paying them to take our data, paying them either with our money or with our time. But we are paying these companies to develop AI and profit from it. Like, if that doesn't blow your mind, like, I don't know, maybe a cat juggling, is gonna blow your mind. Maybe you're one of those people, but it's insane. So we're gonna keep it at that. We're gonna stop with the AI because I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. We ain't gonna do that today. Okay, we ain't gonna do that. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna talk about, this fun conversation that people have just been talking about nonstop the past like couple of for a while now, is aliens. That's right, aliens. They are coming. Disclosure is imminent. Those are all lies. Okay, the aliens have been here, y'all. They have been here. They have been here. They've always been here. They've always been here. There's no disclosures imminent, or well, actually, let me maybe whatever. My point is, they've always been here. They've always been here. Okay. They're just they're part of everything that this world has like hidden from us. And so I really want y'all to recognize that it's like, I don't want to say, we've been heavily programmed in how we should perceive aliens if we come into contact with them. We've been heavily programmed into this through media, through entertainment, through movies, through TVs, through video games. Okay, like literally, for all of the video games with aliens in it, for all of the video games with aliens in it, I feel like 9 times out of 10, they're pushing a certain narrative about aliens, which is aliens are against us. Aliens are our enemy. Aliens are not for us. And oh man, and I don't want to get into the galactic wars. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that right now. We're just not gonna talk about it. Sorry, we're just not gonna talk about it. That's like a whole nother conversation. I'm gonna save that for the Patreon. Because this gets into the whole galactic wars. The majority of the universe, this construct that we live in, the majority of it is all love, including the extraterrestrials. Okay, now there are some that are giving them a bad rap, and that's okay. That's okay, right? Just like the world, right? We have murderers. This is going like south, but you know, we have some people who have been traumatized and need deep psychological help, who aren't good people. But we also have the majority. I would like to say and think that the majority of people are like good natured, like if not all of them. It's just they've been through certain things and they've learned certain ways of living, or quote unquote surviving, that don't really help them make decisions that are for everybody. Okay, so that's how we're gonna put it. But everybody's good within their heart. Everybody's trying to do good. And again, some people are going to disagree with me, but that's okay. Okay. But when it comes to aliens, we're going to see the veil being completely lifted. Okay. So right now, people are talking to Congress. We're seeing these like really old videos, really like poor quality videos of UFOs, right? That people have been seeing for, decades now. But, now we actually have government officials who are legally able to say that, yes, this is true, right? And one of them that I wanted to talk about, I don't know what his name is. But one of the guys, let me see if I can find it real quick. He went on, he recently released a book, and he recently talked to Congress about aliens and his involvement working at the Pentagon. Okay, here we go. Lute Elizondo, that's what we're gonna put, that's his name. Okay, so he has his book, and so he talks about and he says this in multiple interviews. He said how, he's like, yeah, people have access to these videos, but he's like, no, I've seen HD close up. Like he's like, I've seen an HD close up videos of these UFOs. He's like, I've seen them with my own eyes. They're real. Like he literally says this in multiple interviews. The videos that we see on YouTube, it's nothing. It's literally nothing. And so he talks about this. In multiple interviews. And so my point is, I think at this point, nobody, well, maybe they're still non-believers, but I think at this point, people really, if the government is talking about it, come on, the American government at that, we're supposed to be like, whatever this means. My point is, he confirms it. He confirms there's HD videos out there. They just can't release it because it reveals the kind of technology that we have access to as American military, as the American military. There's multiple reports of, you know, people are nuclear bases getting shut down by extraterrestrials. So there's a lot of stuff around this. My point is the veil is going to be completely lifted. So yay for everybody who believed in UFOs, but also not yay because the narrative around UFOs is very much not in a positive light. Even what is his name? Elizondo. Well, he says this too, but then he also says something that he's more scared of. So we're gonna get into that in a second. But he talks about how you know, I think he's like, he's not scared, but he's spooked a little bit about these aliens. He's like, I don't know what they're here for. We don't know what their intentions are. So it's kind of a mystery, which I can appreciate that, instead of people being like, no, they're here to attack us. They disabled our nukes. Like, they're our enemy. Like, no, this is not the case. Okay. And so he says, yeah, it's a little spooky because we don't know what their intentions are. We don't even know how to communicate with these beings. And some of us already know how to communicate, and it's through telepathy, you guys. Like, get with it. Like, literally, I mean, I've told y'all this multiple times on my channel when I talked about, you know, developing your psychic powers, but I literally had telepathy with somebody who did not speak English, but when he communicated one word to me, because I had asked him a question and I didn't, he happened to be from Mongolia. So I'll just tell you the story again. He happened to be a monk. He was from Mongolia, and I asked him in English, you know, oh, I just met him, didn't know where he was from. I was like, oh, where are you from? Before he said anything, the word Mongolia popped into my head. It just appeared there, like, literally. And this isn't on some sensing, because there's like, you can sense a person's like thoughts and stuff, but then you can also send thoughts. Anyway, it's two different things. I'm not going to get into it on here. Definitely comment below if you want me to talk more about that. My point is, we do have, that is, from my knowledge, right? This is my very limited knowledge. That is a way we can communicate with aliens. But my point is, they're going to control the narrative. And this is the issue. It's not about, you know, the veil being lifted. It's about what narrative is the world government's going to give us when it comes to aliens. I want y'all to reflect on the narrative that they've already given us through entertainment and reflect on that. That's all I'm going to say about this, because I don't think I can say any more than that. So just reflect on that, okay? So that's aliens. Oof, wow, I spent too much time on that. Okay, next thing is the environment. Oh my God, we already seen this. So in Pluto during Aquarius, we're going to see more aliens. Obviously, we're going to see more videos and more aliens, you know, within our government. I just got alien relationships. Really? People? I don't know. It just came to me. I don't know about that, but well, relationships in the sense of like governments partnering with aliens. I don't know if we'll see. I don't think we're going to see the full extent of that during Pluto in Aquarius, but we're going to start to see that. Again, this Pluto in Aquarius, it is going to accelerate us in a lot of ways, but we can only accelerate so much in 20 years, you know? So, you know, but think of it like this, you know, think of the next 20 years as, you know, the first, like, think of it in terms of the first 20 years of a human's life. Do you see how much people grow in the first 20 years? Like, it's a lot, right? But there's still a lot of more growth that you need to do after your first 20 years of life, right? This is kind of what Pluto in Aquarius is. It's kind of like the first 20 years of a human's growth, which is still kind of crazy. But there's not a lot of wisdom behind it, right? Does that make sense? So anyway, that's it. That's it for the analogy. The next thing we're going to get into is, of course, the environment, okay? So the environment, and I think the rest of this, we might have to hang on and wait for that. But the environment, so the environment is already going crazy. literally going crazy. We're going to see a lot more environmental natural disasters. This is one of the things that will contribute to the population. But it's a thin slice. It's a really thin slice in all actuality of that population pie. But when it comes to, you know, the environment, we're going to see a lot of environmental disasters that are kind of like unrecognizable. You know, we're going to see, somebody said in the live yesterday, we're going to see more earthquakes. That is so true. We're going to see a lot more earthquakes. And this is what I will say, because there's places that are prepared for earthquakes and there's places that are really not prepared at all. One of the best countries that are prepared for earthquakes is Japan. Okay. And yes, they did have Fukushima did happen, in 2011. But when it comes to actually building infrastructure that can withstand earthquakes, Japan's got it. Japan's got the cake, okay? But we're already seeing these crazy natural disasters happen. And there's, you know, this is two sides of the coin. One side is, yes, the earth is trying to get us to wake up. Literally, you know how like when somebody is like asleep and like their alarm is ringing, they're still not waking up, okay? Your mom or their mom is yelling at them to wake up, they're still not waking up. And you have to physically go and shake them to wake them up. You're like, hey, like, and so at first, it's a little gentle, right? And if they wake up, you're like, okay, I don't have to shake them anymore. They know to get up. But if the gentle little shake doesn't work, you're gonna shake them a little bit more. Remember, we are from Earth. We are part of Earth. So a lot of the stuff that we experience, we can really just becomes reflects the macrocosm of the world we live in, right? It reflects the Earth, right? So that's what the Earth is doing. That's what the Earth is doing. She's literally trying to shake us awake. And you know, y'all either with it or you're not with it. I mean, that's really what it is. But a lot of these natural disasters, that's what it is. That's what it is. Literally, there was an hurricane that happened. And when y'all see Hurricane Helene, just look up let me look it up. Let me see if I can find it on here. Look at a map of this. It literally goes from the Gulf of Mexico. And usually hurricanes, they kind of settle in they kind of stay on water, right? But this one had enough momentum, had enough drive. And it literally, y'all, look at this. Ooh, a lot of pictures. Okay. It literally went from the water, hopped to the center, almost the center of the United States. Okay. It went over land. It said, I don't need water. I can just go straight to the land. I don't need it. I don't need any water anymore. I'm good to go. So I just want y'all to take, and this is what we're experiencing now before Pluto in Aquarius. Y'all come on, please, like get with it. Okay. The earth is really trying to tell us, like, yes, this earth is made of infinite resources. Yes, there is such thing as abundance, but there's also such thing as karma. So I really want y'all to keep that in mind. Like, be aware of the environment as much as possible. Like I really don't know how else to say this. And it's one of those things, again, you're going to get with it or you're going to get lost. Like, that's literally what it is. Like, this is like the theme. That's literally the theme of Pluto in Aquarius. You can get with it or you can get lost. It's literally, you got two choices, okay? And that's just, unfortunately, it's the truth. And not everybody's going to listen to it. I'm telling y'all right now, a lot of y'all are going to have family members that are not with it. And I know how that feels. I know what it feels like to go through that. And it's not fun. It's really not fun. But I really want y'all to at least know for yourself, okay? And for your family. So we had that. And then, of course, people are predicting that Africa is going to have another ocean. Really, it's a sea. It's a sea. I don't really want to say it's an ocean. But there was an earthquake there that literally created a split. And so this is one of the other predictions. Ooh, girl, of what people think is going to happen for Africa. And I don't know if it's going to happen within Pluto and Aquarius, but this is another thing we're going to see. Okay, this is another thing we're going to see. We're going to start to see literally the environment, the terrain changing, literally changing. The earth will not look the same. The earth will not look the same coming out of Pluto in Aquarius. I'm telling y'all right now, it's just not going to look the same, okay? So that's going to be for the environment, because we're getting towards the end. Okay, so the next one that I talked about, oh girl, we're not going to be able to get through all of this. The next one I talked about is the Hegemony. So, or the world ruler. This is like, I really don't like this name, but this is what I guess the Greeks gave us to call the world ruler. I don't really know. But, I mean, I do know, but this is the word. Right, so a good book to help you kind of loosely see what's going to go on politically with this is to read the book Shadow of the Hegemony by Orson Scott Card. If some of you guys are familiar, he did write the book Ender's Game, and this is like a spin-off of that series. Yes, Ender's Game was a series. Okay. So, but Shadow of the Hegemony, read that book. And so we're going to start to see a hegemon, or you can say emperor, but I don't think they're ever going to give them that name because it's not really, it's not with the times, you know. they're gonna name it something new, because they know if they name this world ruler emperor, nobody's gonna be with it, right? Anyway, but we're gonna start to see this. We're start to see this in the way that we've started to see how the United Nations has impacted the world. And I say it like this because some of y'all know this, some of y'all don't. But if you know anybody who has been in the UN, you know the first thing that they're going to say is that the UN doesn't have any authority, okay? And a good example of this is when you look at the, the environmental agreement. A lot of the countries who signed that contract, they did not follow through with it at all, okay? And that's because the UN doesn't have any authority, okay? And so when it comes to this world ruler, we're going to start to see it. But in terms of authority, I don't know. I have to like kind of reflect on that a little bit more. I don't feel at this point, I don't feel that it's going to have as much authority as people, this position at least, this position isn't going to have as much authority as people are perceiving it to have. At least within this first rendition of Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. But I just wanted to give y'all a heads up for that. Okay. Revolutions. I'm like, I guess we have time for revolutions. Ooh, and I didn't mark the timestamp, but it's okay. Revolutions. So there's going to be a lot of like social revolutions. I mean, everything I just mentioned, all of the categories I just mentioned, they will all be revolutionized within the next 19 years. But in terms of like power to the people, revolution, we are going to see a lot of that. A lot of that. Again, this is Pluto in Aquarius. This is a shift in power. Whether the people in power like it or not, this is a shift in power, okay? And for this, I wanted to talk about the Hopi prophecy. So there's a Hopi prophecy, and the video that I happened to watch was the Hopi prophecy interview with a man when in like the 60s or something. It was with like black and white. And so he talks about how, this is in the 60s, he talks about how there's going to be a revolution amongst the black people, especially within the United States. And there's going to be a social justice revolution. And that's what happened. That's what we saw in the 70s, right? We saw this with MK, Malcolm X, the Panthers. And he said, we're going to have this first revolution. Then after the revolution, there's going to be a meeting of all peoples. And he said, all 4 nations need to be represented or else the following will happen. And when he says all 4 nations, he means the white fire people, which is like Europeans. Yeah, okay. I was like, do I have to go into depth about this? Caucasians, if you want me to say it. Black people, people of the water, right? People of the earth, the red people, the native people, which includes people within the native peoples within Latin America, and I would even say the indigenous people, and then the yellow people, the air people of Asia, okay? It's in the Hopi prophecy. Y'all can look at it, okay? And he said, if all 4 nations are not represented, y'all can do this research for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Do this research for yourself. But if all 4 nations are not represented, then there's going to be another revolution that will be more violent. when this meeting of the nations happened, not all 4 parties were represented. I think they excluded the native peoples, a representative from the native peoples. And so what's going to happen, because everything that the Hopi prophecy has said has already happened. Okay, it's already happened. We ain't going to get into all of it. We're not going to get into all of it for this, but it's already happened. And so we're going to have another revolution. It's going to be more violent. Now. Okay. Now. It's going to be more violent than the last revolution. Because remember, we are more evolved as human beings. We are more conscious human beings. When the Hopi prophecy says it's going to be more violent, I guess I believe that it's just going to be more violent than the last one. It's not going to be this whole extreme experience, right? I don't think it's going to be like that, because again, we are conscious beings. We are more evolved beings. I really do believe that we will find other tactics that can transform the outcome of our story. Okay, especially as the people who are not represented in that world meeting. So we are going to have another revolution. It is going to be more violent than the last one. So just think about how violent the last one is. It's going to be a little bit more violent. It's not going to be this big thing. The media might try to make it out to be a big thing, so to cause more people, to cause more not separation, to cause more separation between the people, to cause more anxiety, more low frequency emotions amongst the people. Yeah, the media might end up spinning this to make it bigger than it is, or more violent than it is. But it's truly not going to be that much. It's not going to be like Gladiator days. Okay, that's how I'm going to put it. It's not going to be like that. So that's revolution, I guess. And this is revolution from my perspective, especially as a Black woman. I can't really say for all of the revolutions, but there's gonna be revolutions. Oh, I'm getting in Peru especially too. There's gonna be a farmers. They've been having farmers revolutions in Peru and other countries too, in Latin America, but they're gonna be even more. They might even be even a little bit more violent. But one thing I do want to say about this: people need to start doing mass meditations. The mass protests, I feel like we're beating I don't want to use that analogy. I just feel like we've been there, we've done that. It has caused change. But again, this is Pluto in Aquarius. It's like we want change now. We want to change this with more efficiency. And the way to do it is through mass meditation. I'm telling y'all now. So even the way that we revolt, even the way that we protest is going to drastically change with Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. Yeah, I don't really want to get into like protesting on social media, because that's how I feel about it, to be honest. But again, mass meditation, that's really going to change the game. Okay, so that's revolution. We touched about this a little bit. Celebrities, when it comes to I did it again. Okay, hold on. Just let me write down these notes. When it comes to celebrities, influencers, who's going to influence the masses? Just read The Extras by Scott Westerfield. That's literally what I'm gonna say for this. Just read The Extras. That's gonna give you a clear understanding of how powerful influencers will be. But the thing about influencers too is they have already created a system to manipulate the influencers. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I can't say anything else on here. Not gonna name names, but they've already created this. They're literally ahead of the game. I think that's it. That's gonna be it for this. So again, apologize for the live stream. Y'all make sure to add yourself to the list of people who will be invited to the Patreon family. It's in the Wellness Library below. You need to sign up for the Wellness Library, which you have like a bunch of free resources on. And what else? And I would like y'all to, oh, sorry, one last thing. We are also going to be evolving as humans. Some people that I've talked to, some monks that I've talked to, say it's going to happen a little bit longer for the masses. But I think some of us are going to experience this a lot sooner rather than later. So this is the other big thing that's going to happen. I don't want to talk about it on YouTube because there have been YouTube channels and videos that have been taken down talking about this subject, about human evolution, supernatural powers. So I'm not going to talk about that. That's going to be saved for the Patreon family. So if y'all in the Patreon family, link in the description below. Sign up for the wellness library, which has a bunch of free resources, but all on manifestation, accumulating wealth, and also a guide for how to, survive Pluto in Aquarius for the next year. That's in there. And then also you'll be put on the list for people who are going to be the first to know about the Patreon page, okay? Because I'm only letting in a couple, like literally just a few people to be part of that group, okay? So we're going to talk about human evolution. What else we're going to talk about on the Patreon channel? We're going to talk about magic and how we're going to experience magic and technology. Crazy time. People aren't even talking about this, but we're going to be talking about that combination. I'm going to talk about that on the Patreon. Okay. We're going to talk about more about the Black Swan event, specifically about what is exactly going to happen, when it's exactly going to happen. According to, I think I have 2 sources on this. I want to have one more person confirm this. And then also sexuality, but I think this, I don't know. If y'all interested in that, y'all gonna have to let me know. I don't think I'm super interested in sexuality, but I think the way that we perceive relationships, love, and sexuality is going to drastically change during Pluto in Aquarius. Remember, this is the time where everything is shaking and changing. Whenever we're changing or mixing, when you mix something, some stuff is gonna get blurred before everything, gets clear again. So keep that in mind. Meditate, meditate, meditate. Love yourself always, okay? So that's going to be it for this week. I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all later this week when I give y'all the individual signs, okay? Love you. Peace.